and welcome back to my channel. It's Kai here. Every year, more and more anime make it into the mainstream media, and 2024 was absolutely no different. With big hits like Solo Leveling, Don Da Don, Dungeon Meshi, Kaiju number 8, and so many more, it's easy to see how so many anime fly under the radar. If you're a seasoned otaku like me,
it's probably not me.
You probably know how overwhelming it can get to pick your next anime watch. And with all these new releases, it doesn't make it easier. So, in today's video, I'm sharing my top 10 most underrated anime from 2024. These are fresh, hidden gems spanning multiple lengths and genres, so I guarantee by the end of this video, you will be adding at least one anime to your watch list.
Are you challenging me?
Now, while I'm focusing on underrated anime from last year in this particular video, since that's what my little kawaius or my members voted for, I will be doing a top 10 best 2024 anime, so if you guys want to see that a little bit sooner, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below. With that, let's get into the video.
Let's fucking go.
First up on this list is one that I talked about quite heavily whenever it was airing, so if you're not new to this channel, it probably is no surprise to you that number one on this list goes to The Witch and the Beast. This anime is absolutely packed with amazing dark fantasy elements and intense magic, delivering a gripping story that really deserves more attention. The plot centers around Godot, a woman cursed by a powerful witch to carry a beast inside of her. Air quotes because we don't really know if it's a beast, a man, and who's really the cursed one in the situation. But despite that, this beast is locked away inside of a coffin that Godot's partner, Ashoff, a skilled and powerful mage, carries on his back. Together, they travel around this world to find the witch that cursed Godot. As they navigate a brutal world where witches are feared and their powers are intensely dangerous, they are constantly facing off against magical beings, witches, and even the Order of Magical Resonance themselves. This is an organization that really seeks to hoard all the magical powers to themselves.
Those motherfuckers!
The series has an incredible mix of suspense, fascinating powers, and incredibly morally complex characters. Godot's tragic story, alongside characters like Ashoff, Helga, Johan, really pull you in and keep you engaged. What I don't understand is how a captivating, dark series flew under the radar. Unfortunately, this is receiving a lot of the treatment that I felt Undead Murder Farce went through, which is really sad because that's also a great story. But for another time.
Another time then.
Of course, you can blame its underratedness on having to compete with some titles like Solo Leveling, Dungeon Meshi, and A Sign of Affection, but still, it's a mystery to me why more people aren't talking about it. It's got everything: intense world building, compelling mysteries, and some really unforgettable characters. Honestly, this is one anime that absolutely deserves a bigger audience, and I think more people should be giving this a chance. Especially because I want a season 2. This next one is honestly quite a surprising watch for me, and I probably wouldn't have watched it if not for a video that I did where I watched every, I think, fall anime. Honestly, if you're like me and you fail to see the appeal of isekai, or maybe you really enjoy isekai but you don't want it to be an isekai, then this next one is for you.
I haven't a clue what's going on here, but I'll act like I do.
Capturing the vibes of what make isekai so appealing to its followers, but without the reincarnation bit and good character and development and world building, the Ossan newbie, trained to death by the most powerful party, became invincible, is for you. Gosh, that's a long title.
Bitch, you better be joking.
The story follows Rick Gladiator, a middle-aged man who dreams of becoming an adventurer despite his age. When his hidden skill finally shows itself, Rick finally has the chance to become one. Being taken in by the most powerful party, as the very long title suggests, named Orichalcum Fist, Rick undergoes an intense training regimen that honestly leads to his death hundreds of times, but has made him practically invincible whether he knows it or not. However, due to his age, he's often underestimated and often finds himself in quite humorous situations. As he navigates the challenges of being a late bloomer in a world where you pretty much become an adventurer as a teenager, he offers a mature perspective as he faces off against much younger and much more inexperienced adventurers, while secretly being powerful due to his rigorous training. While this still holds the vibes of many isekai, I believe that the characters, fights, and world building is on a very high level. I would put it on the same levels as That Time I Got Reincarnated into Slime. I know that's an isekai, and Black Clover. The premise reminds us that no matter what our age, we're never too old to follow our dreams, and that never giving up certainly has its perks.
I'm good, bro. You geeking, bro.
Lastly, it has a cast of colorful characters perfect for a fantasy world, like the super adorable vampire Alice Arrête, who reminds me so much of Milam, a genius orc named Broston, and a gun-carrying half-dwarf, half-elf Mazette. I definitely think this one has worlds more to give if we can get a season 2, and I definitely think it's one that so many people can enjoy. It's not just about having an overpowered MC, it's about learning, growing, and being yourself, no matter how old you are. A fan of anime like Black Clover and Mashle? Then this next one's for you. Like both of the aforementioned anime, Wistoria Wand and Sword follows a young man named Will Serfort who lives in a world where magic is everything.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
What do you mean you've seen this? It's brand new.
Despite that, he has no magical abilities whatsoever, and he attends a magical academy where he must rely on his swordsmanship to overcome the societal prejudices and achieve his goals of reuniting with his childhood best friend and crush, who happens to be a magical prodigy. And despite being looked down upon by others who value magic above all else, Will still remains positive. While the premise sounds almost exactly like the other two, most likely leading to its underratedness, I'm sure people at this point are like, why do we need more of the same story? Let me tell you, this story holds its own. It has incredible animation, intense fight scenes, and a more intense focus on magic and magical creatures, and a lot of what happens inside of dungeons, which I think is an interesting element that we don't get in the other two anime. It holds much more lore and story depth than Mashle, with less comedy, but with equal parts entertainment. If you're a fan of series with high-stakes fantasy, magical duels, and a protagonist who has to grow and rise to the occasion, then Wistoria Wand and Sword will keep you hooked. It's definitely a hidden gem for fans who love a well-executed mix of magic, adventure, and character-driven storytelling, and one that you should definitely pick back up if you missed it last year. Next up is one of the best animated shows to come out of 2024, and that's the Elusive Samurai. Well, let me just say it's both the best and the worst animated show to come out of last year.
Say what?
It has a lot of the issues that Blue Lock Season 1 had, where they used CGI in random spots, and because the animation is so good, it could be a bit jarring, and it really heightened the juxtaposition between the 2D and 3D animation. But from the very first episode, the use of colors in this anime immediately drew me in. The Elusive Samurai is a quirky historical fiction anime. This anime tells the story of a relatively obscure Japanese figure, Hojo Takayuki, the last heir of the powerful Hojo clan that once controlled the Kamakura shogunate. After witnessing the brutal betrayal and loss of his clan, he sets off on a journey of revenge and redemption, utilizing his unique ability to evade danger, which becomes crucial to his survival. Hence the name, the Elusive Samurai.
My goodness, what an idea. Why didn't I think of that?
What makes Takayuki stand out is he's not really good at sword fighting. Of course he's intelligent and strategic, but he really just has fun escaping. It's really weird, but it's really great. It becomes a thrilling game of strategy and survival, like real-life tag, where you could lose your life at the end of it. Full of supernatural elements, bizarre situations, and a random weird faces like Golden Kamui and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It has it all. If you love historical samurai action mixed with sharp strategic battles and compelling characters, amazing use of color, fantastic animation, amazing character development, then the Elusive Samurai is a must-watch. It's an underrated gem that brings the past to life in ways that's both entertaining and thought-provoking. So if this is one you did not check out last year, I definitely would recommend it if you're a fan of Golden Kamui, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and other historical fiction anime. A fan of anti-heroes, Power Rangers, Sentai, or shows like Invincible?
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
then this next anime is for you. And it's honestly one that I thought would be more in the forefront of 2024 anime whenever it was premiering. And that is Go-Go Loser Ranger. 13 years ago, the villainous army of evil attempted to invade Earth. However, faced by the Super Sentai, known as the Dragon Keepers, and their weapons, known as the Divine Tools, the evil army was defeated within a year. All of the executives were completely wiped out, leaving only the almost immortal foot soldiers. However, these foot soldiers since then have been forced to reenact their defeat to the Keepers in front of a crowd of spectators every Sunday. Tired of the charade and realizing that this amounts to little more than slavery, one of the foot soldiers rebels and decides he alone will defeat the Dragon Keepers. And he will do so by infiltrating their organization. You see, these foot soldiers are able to transform themselves, which is how they continue to do those shows week after week. This show is a satire of superhero tropes, with the heroes being portrayed as almost too perfect, and the villains struggling to even be taken seriously. The main character in particular is a rather unconventional villain, who has his own personal conflicts and insecurities, making him stand out from your average antagonist. And honestly, I don't even know if you can call him a villain, and that's what I love about this show. It is so compelling how it plays on your expectations of heroes and villains. It's a fun blend of action, humor, and character development, and it also works to subvert the usual moral lines that are often drawn in superhero media. Each character has their own sets of morals, motivations, and each seems almost morally gray. Heroes do villainous things, and villains do heroic things, which lead to hilarious and emotionally deep moments. It's an entertaining ride that doesn't take itself too seriously, but still delivers an unexpectedly fun and thoughtful experience. And honestly, this had one of the best anime openings of the last year, and I did talk about it in my Ranking the Anime Openings video, which you can watch here. But nonetheless, if you haven't watched this one and you love all of those things I just talked about, this is definitely one you're going to want to go back to from the last year. This next anime is actually one I watched the live action for well before there was ever an anime.
Disgusting!
And I absolutely fell in love with the story because it was so quirky and fun. But for now, let's grab that and only talk about the anime. And that is the Fable. The Fable premise is honestly quite similar to Sakamoto Days. It follows the legendary hitman Akira Sato, or the Fable, and his partner, who is much like his sister, as they are ordered by their boss to take 1 year off from killing and try to live a normal life in Osaka. At the heart of the plot is the tension between the Fable's past life as a cold-blooded assassin and his attempts at living a normal life when normal is something he's never known. He begins to form real relationships with people, something he never thought was possible and that he never had the chance to do before. He also comes to understand the importance of having a purpose beyond killing and the significance of living for something greater than just survival. What makes the anime stand out is the contrast between his ultra-serious persona and his attempts to adjust to a normal life, because it's honestly quite humorous. He's a very weird dude. He's someone who eats the skins on edamame, watches a really weird guy on TV, and is obsessed with him, and likes to be buck naked no matter what he's doing. And with all that, there's humor, action, and even some lighthearted moments sprinkled throughout the series as he tries to fit in, all while being pursued by various enemies who don't know his true identity but want to kill him nonetheless.
That makes two of us.
The comedy is surreal and absurd in an endearing way that's further highlighted by its dark and simplistic art style. If you're a fan of intense action scenes where a lot of it comes down to scientific methods and just knowing your craft, a lot of the fight scenes are much like Sherlock Holmes, the Robert Downey Jr. version, and I absolutely loved that part of it. But on top of that, there's complex characters and a bit of dark humor. And honestly, if you ask me, this one probably flew under the radar because it was a Hulu exclusive. But nonetheless, The Fable is definitely one to pick up if you missed it last year. A fan of Sword Art Online, or maybe you're not because you don't enjoy weird incestuous cousin plot lines.
I am sickened, but curious.
And you want something better with the same vibes, then this next one is for you. This is one I never expected to watch, but after seeing that damned half-naked, bird-headed person on my Crunchyroll for far too long, I couldn't help but finally click on it. And boy am I glad I gave it a chance. Shangri-La Fronteir follows a second-year high school student, Hisatomi Rakaru, who is interested in one thing only: shitty games. And beating the crap out of them. His gaming skills are second to none, and no game is too bad for him to enjoy. So when he's introduced to the world's best VR game, Shangri-La Fronteir, what will this trash gamer do? What I personally love about this anime is that you can truly tell they know their gaming knowledge. And this focus on the complexity of virtual worlds and gaming knowledge is definitely what sets it apart from others in the genre. The anime doesn't just focus on the action and gameplay, but digs deep into the culture of gamers, the challenges of in-game mechanics, and the thrill of enjoying an ever-evolving world. It perfectly balances in-game lore, making it feel like you're in a fantasy anime, but constantly reminding you that this is, in fact, a game. Though that doesn't make the stakes any less major. Rakaru, or Sanraku's, who, as he is known online, his expertise and love for challenging games gives him an edge in this new world. But he quickly realizes that the stakes are higher than he imagined, both in-game and in his own life. It has a lovely mix of humor, strategy, and a focus on the gaming experience that others don't. And if you enjoy all of these things, then Shangri-La Fronteir is right up your alley. It's an action-packed, character-driven series that plays with the idea of virtual reality in an exciting and fresh way, and Season 2 is currently airing right now, so there's no better time for you to pick up Season 1 and get caught up than now.
I'll put it on the list.
A fan of anime like Vinland Saga, Apothecary Diaries, or Raven of the Inner Palace, then this next one is for you. Yatagasaru, The Raven Does Not Choose Its Master, is a dark supernatural thriller drama following the Chinese and Japanese lore of Yatagasaru, or the three-legged crow who in Shintoism is known to be a guiding spirit. The premise of the show is really quite simple, but shines nonetheless. In a world of shape-shifting ravens, Yukiya, a northern leader's son, is summoned by the Imperial Prince as murder, mysteries, and an invasion from an unknown enemy threaten the four noble regions. But what makes this show so special is its enthralling world building. I won't give away too much, but whether it's stopping assassination, finding a consort,
What on earth are you insinuating?
or figuring out where this mysterious drug came from, the series weaves a captivating narrative from start to finish. We also get some really important lore drops throughout the story that constantly had me on the edge of my seat. Its interesting and competent main character, Yukiya, shows that even a child's point of view can be in-depth and interesting. He's a main character that stands on his own despite his age and reminds me a lot of what Thorfinn from Vinland Saga could have been if he had a mature outlook on life at the beginning of the series. Unfortunately, I believe this flew under the radar because it doesn't have flashy fights and the magical system isn't mainstream, but what it does have is a complex and well-crafted character development and drama. It's an original story that satisfies week after week, and my only hope is that we get a season 2. So if you're looking for a deeper character-driven story that has supernatural and mystery elements, then this one is definitely worth checking out. Winding Down is another anime that I talked about quite often whenever it was airing, and that's Mysterious Disappearances. This dark supernatural mystery, a little bit similar to Totally Bound Hanako-kun, follows an aspiring novelist, Ogawa, who loves mysteries and works at a bookstore, with a boy named Ren Adashino. When she ends up inadvertently cursing herself with a collection of poems, she discovers that her co-worker Ren is an amateur occult investigator who helps her get control over the curse, and the two begin to investigate various other occult objects that lead to disappearances, alongside Ren's sister, Odo, giving way to a Mystery of the Week style anime that teaches you about many Japanese and Asian urban legends. What really makes Mysterious Disappearances stand out is its tone.
Gotta set the tone, boys. Someone's gotta fucking set it.
It mixes the eerie atmosphere of the supernatural mystery with elements of horror, but it's not just about scares. The series is just as much about unraveling clues, psychological tension, and the relationships between the characters as it is about the strange events happening around them. It's a slow burn with each new revelation, adding more layers to the story, keeping you guessing and constantly wanting more. If you're into shows like Erased or The Promised Neverland, Mysterious Disappearance offers a similar vibe of suspense. It's the kind of anime that makes you question everything, and just when you think you have everything figured out, it throws a curveball that completely changes your perspective.
My grasp of the universal constants of physical reality has been changed forever.
So if you're in the mood for a thrilling mystery with supernatural elements, deep character exploration, and plenty of twists and turns, Mysterious Disappearances will definitely keep you hooked until the very end. Time travel, aliens, robots, futuristic weaponry, intergalactic war, this last anime has it all. This seemingly quirky anime peels away layer by layer, revealing a dark and twisted science fiction anime that I wish I had seen whenever I was scripting my top 10 best underrated sci-fi anime. Nonetheless, I can talk about it now, and I am super stoked to bring this anime to the forefront and give this well-deserved underrated gem your attention. Dedede Demon's Destruction is a crudely drawn, completed anime following the lives of two high school girls, Karade Koyama and Oran Nakagawa, as they navigate their everyday lives in Japan while a giant alien spaceship known as the Mothership hovers ominously over the country. What makes this anime so special is despite this otherworldly presence, the anime chooses to focus on the mundane lives of the girls and really only use the anime as a means to show human nature when faced with the unknown. In fact, the aliens are rather weak. However, the story is not. Let me tell you, this surreal sci-fi anime has so much emotional depth packed into it. The narrative combines humor, slice of life moments, and existential themes, offering a unique blend of lightheartedness and introspection. The characters are relatable, making their struggles feel all the more real, even as the story leans into the absurdity and dark humor, making it an almost too perfect coming-of-age story. It teaches us that in a world where death and destruction, no pun intended, run rampant, that as long as you have that chosen person by your side, anything is possible no matter how many tries it takes.
You serious?
So, if you enjoy thought-provoking narratives that balance the strange with the familiar in a fresh and unique way, then Dedede Demon's Destruction is a 2024 gem that you must watch. You just have to watch it to see why I'm so hyped. If you know, you know. Okay? And with that, that is my top 10 most underrated anime that came out of 2024. As always, let me know which ones you'd add to the list, which ones you'd scrap to the list. Lastly, if you want to be a part of choosing my future videos, like my little kawaiis chose today's video, get bloopers from this video and others, behind the scene content, and so much more, please consider becoming a member of the channel or joining our Discord. And with that, if you want to see more anime recommendation videos, feel free to check out this playlist right here. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!